Hello everyone, it's Dom here. Going to be rounding up the esports news and goings on in the UK and around the world over the past week. There's quite a bit this week. I'm looking forward to covering this. Starting off with a bit of an insane story here. It's a Hearthstone Grandmaster who called for the liberation of Hong Kong in a deleted post-match interview. The VOD has been quickly removed by Blizzard. It's mad. A lot of the videos, I saw it this morning, and a lot have been removed online, but you should be able to still find it. But you don't really need to watch it because you can get the gist of it. It's quite a short clip. The winner of the recent Hearthstone Grandmasters in Taipei, Blitzchung, he said the casters allowed him to give a victory speech, and he removed his mask and said, "Liberate Hong Kong, revolution of our age." The casters, you can see in the picture, they sort of hid their faces almost like behind the screens or almost under the desk as he was saying this. And it's a huge story which has just blown up on Reddit and online, you can see afterwards Blitzchung said, "As you know, there are serious protests in my country now. My call on stream was just another form of participation of the protest that I wished to grab more attention. Put so much effort in that social movement the past few months, I sometimes couldn't focus on preparing my Grandmasters match. I know what my action on stream means. It could cause me a lot of trouble, even my personal safety in real life, but I think it's my duty to say something about the issue." It's not just the interview clip that's disappeared. His full match with Dawn that preceded the interview also appears to have been deleted. Some mad stuff happening. Blizzard, I think, turning off the comments on its own news page about, just the win. And you can see he's been removed from the Grandmasters for his comments. He's been banned for a year from esports, from playing in Hearthstone tournaments, and his prize pool has been reduced to nothing. And you can see that Blizzard have said, "We'd like to emphasise tournament and player conduct within the Hearthstone esports community from both players and talent. While we stand by one's right to express individual thoughts and opinions, players and other participants that elect to participate in our esports competitions must abide by the official competition rules." And you can see this tweet from prominent journalist Slasher. Blizzard have said that it violated, let's zoom in a little bit here so you can see this a little bit better, and just remove this. There we go. Apparently, the player has violated section 6.1 of the Grandmasters official competition rules. Engaging in any act that brings you into public disrepute, offends a portion or group of the public, or otherwise damages Blizzard's image will result in removal from Grandmasters and reduction of the player's prize pool total to $0, in addition to other remedies which may be provided under the handbook and Blizzard's website terms. So he's been banned for a year. It's quite mad. Slash has noted that Blizzard also fired both of the Hearthstone casters working at the event. And they've also disabled comments on the news, which are normally open. And from scrolling back through hundreds of posts like this, it's the only time they've done that. Can't imagine why. I don't think I've seen a Reddit post get quite so many upvotes. 62,000 were at the moment. I literally checked my phone about an hour ago and it was about 50-something thousand, and over 7,000 comments. And there's a lot of people in here. Okay, it might be a minority compared to the amount of people that play Blizzard's game. There's a lot of people here cancelling their subscriptions to World of Warcraft, deleting all their Blizzard games off their computer in protest of this. People are saying it's all come down to money. Why have Blizzard removed the interview and taken a real quick knee-jerk reaction to ban the player? Because they don't want to upset China. They don't want to upset the government out there. They don't want the risk of any of their games being banned. They have so many players out there across Asia as well. It's a risk to them, to their bottom line. They don't want to lose money, and that's what Activision Blizzard is about, isn't it? It's about making money. Yes, they produce decent games. Many would argue not as good as Blizzard's used to be in the past, and I would agree with that. There's been a lot of controversy over the past few years. Blizzard doing making poor decisions, cancelling the Heroes of the Storm esports stuff entirely, the Diablo mobile announcement, the laying off of staff despite making whatever it was, record revenues. I could go on and on and on. This is the latest one, and this arguably is the worst one so far, or the biggest one that's going to have the biggest sort of impact. There are people commenting saying things like so during BlizzCon, which is in a few weeks, I think it's next month, we're all agreed in spamming "Liberate Hong Kong, Revolution of Our Age" in Twitch chat then. And, people are pointing out it's going to be subscriber-only chat. And, and then others are making the point that, well, people will probably just sub and to spam it and then get a refund. Maybe they're going to turn off comments entirely. Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? But I've seen people making comments that this is a sort of Streisand effect. This could have a sort of Streisand effect, that in Blizzard trying to remove the clip and things like that, and taking the action that they have, it's going to have the opposite effect and make everyone talk about it and become aware of it. It's a very big story and important story, I think, as well. And for those of you out there saying, politics shouldn't be involved in esports and shouldn't be involved, I hear that a lot. I like my punk rock and things like that, and people saying, politics shouldn't be in rock music and things like that. I mean, politics affects everything. You can't you can't just say no politics here. I mean, it's very difficult. The debate's been going on in the games industry for a while, hasn't it, as well? You get some how can I say it, maybe more left-leaning journalists posing the question every now and then to developers, why aren't your games all the political stuff? I'm not going to get into that in this video because that's a whole another can of worms, but I think it's an important news story, and I wanted to highlight that one first. So going into the UK sports news, then I'll go back into other global news. So looking at the UK stuff, Premier League is returning with a second season, but still no signs of a prize pool. So that's going to be coming back for a second season. We're going to see players representing Premier League football clubs in virtual FIFA matches. And as usual, the top players are going to be able to get Global Series points, which will allow them to qualify for the FIFA 20 Global Series playoffs and eventually the E-World Cup and things like that. The lack of a prize pool has been criticised by some in the community, including British FIFA pro Jazz Singh. I did a story on that a while ago, and you can see all that in the article here. And it's not been very good. So just when is this actually starting up? I believe it's, here we go here. Registration opens November 4th. And from December 2nd, competitors for the 20 Premier League clubs will battle it out over 4 months through online qualification and club playoffs. And the finals are going to be late March 2020. That is a typo on my site there. I need to get that changed. March 27th and 27th, 2020. No, I think that should be 28th there. I'm going to edit that after this video. I'll move that there so I know where to do that. It's not been a great start for EA with FIFA 20. They leaked user data after players signed up to the FIFA 20 Global Series Esports event. The players have come out and said it's, one player, J Rex, has said it's been honestly pretty awful. Still no word from me. I'm getting constant text from EA verification. I believe this has been resolved now. I updated this the other day. Yeah, they're taking steps to protect players' accounts, and there's also been problems with career mode and things like that. I don't follow FIFA super closely, but have a look around. There's been problems, and you know, I can't understand why there isn't a prize pool for season 2. There may be one coming. I mean, you've got Premier League clubs, for heaven's sake. You've got 20 of some of the richest football clubs in the world, and you've got no prize pool in the esports. I can't get my head around it. I can't understand. You know, I get that out there is a criticism that some people have, that there's a lot of player power in esports, and there's a lot of a lot of the money goes to players and to publishers and things like that. But you know, if they've put the time in to become a pro player and the best in their field, they deserve to receive payment. You know, I know from this they'll get qualification points to go to the World Cup and things like that. It just seems odd to me that the Premier League has all this money and it's not being filtered into the esports tournament in any way. I find that a bit odd. But anyway, moving on. We've got the winner here of the 1v1 Red Bull Player 1 UK final that happened on the weekend. It's Blue Spirits. Congratulations to Blue Spirits. He's won, and he's going to be going to the grand final, Red Bull Player 1, because as I understand it, there's finals in different countries, and then the winners of each will go through to one big final. I believe it's in Brazil later this year. There we go, Sao Paulo, from November 30th to December 1st. So good luck to Blue Spirits. He's actually going to have some training with M&M Gaming, of course the UK esports organisation that have a League of Legends team in the UKLC European Regional League, officially backed by Riot and LVP. So good luck to him. It was great to see Shocks there as well. Obviously the huge League of Legends, really well known host at the event, and she's had some nice things to say about Blue Spirits as well. She said Blue Spirits was underrating himself if he says he's not going to do well in Brazil, because he did beat players who were literally 1v1 players, and he held his cool and he did it. For me, he's going to represent the UK well. Good luck to Blue Spirits. It's not so much news. This is a little roundup I did of a panel I moderated at ESI London a few weeks ago. We had some great people on the panel: Ben Greenstone, Heather Dower, Clement Murphy and Daniel Wood. I've done 6 highlights from the talk, and you can see it here on Esports News UK, and you can watch the video as well on the Esports Insider YouTube channel, so go check that out if you haven't done already. Some interesting things said about the rise, how well UK esports has been doing over the past few years and where it can go next. And on Esports Insider events, just while I'm on this topic, they've got their next London event, conference event, ESI Autumn Forum in November, and they've got another like a social networking event in a couple of weeks at the esports at a platform, which is in Shoreditch Way, I think, not far from Liverpool Street. I don't think I can make this one, sadly, but they're all really good, so I recommend it. There's pizzas and drinks and lots of cool people in UK sports, so go check it out if you can. And the price, Elite 1337, I like that. Nice touch, guys. Wacko, he's a British Apex Legends pro player who I've been meaning to interview for a while. Sorry to Wacko and his team manager, I didn't get back to you. I apologise for that. I wanted to do an interview with Wacko. I've just had so much time on. I've just had so much stuff on and so much little time. But Sue Collins at Red Bull has done an interview, which is good. I've got some quotes from him there. He's been doing well in Apex Legends, I understand, for Penta. 14 UK players were involved in the Apex Legends pre-season invitational last week. Oh, sorry, this was 2 weeks ago, so I've missed the boat on this one. But go check it out, guys. I think he'd done quite well. Here we go, 8th place in the overall standing out of 80 teams. So Penta finished 8th. That's nothing to be sniffed at. That's well done, and I hope Wacko does well in the future. I believe he was playing PUBG before this, because he joined the Esports News UK Discord server ages ago. And I'm sorry I haven't done anything on him. I will try and do do something in the future. This is a bit of a weird story, not so much esports. NHS is targeting gaming addiction with a new specialist clinic. I heard this on the radio earlier and I thought, what? It surprised me. They've announced a specialist addiction treatment centre in London. It's part of the National Centre of Behavioural Addiction, and it's located at the National Problem Gambling Clinic, and will also provide support for internet addiction and I believe like sort of social media addiction and things like that. The service is aimed at supporting people aged between 13 and 25 who are being negatively affected by, I think that should be severe or complex behavioural issues associated with gaming, gambling and social media. And the news comes, of course, after the World Health Organization recognised gaming disorder as a disease, and the DCMS released its report on immersive and addictive technologies. So that was a parliamentary committee that released that report, and they're recommending to the government that they ban the sale of loot boxes to children in the UK. So, I mean, some people can look at this and say it's negative, and it paints games as in a bad light. Yes and no. I mean, yes, people who don't understand esports or video games might see it in a negative light, but at the same time, we do need to recognise there are people that will be seriously addicted to gaming. And remember the term addiction. It doesn't mean playing games a lot. It means playing games to the point where it ruins your life and stops you doing other things. You know, you lose your job because you played too many games, things like that. It's obviously a very small percentage of players that get into this state, but we do have to help them. You know, it's no good just saying games are great and not recognising problems as well. Yes, I know you can get addicted to other things, of course, but it's good that it's there, in my opinion. Anyway, I always try and offer my opinion on the news as well, rather than just read it out. Next story, London Spitfire have released a few players, including Birdring. I'm very sad about this one. Birdring was my favourite Spitfire player. I really, really enjoyed watching him. Very exciting player to watch. But yeah, I to be honest, I haven't watched much of Overwatch esports over the past year. I watched it a lot in the first season that the London Spitfire won. So, you know, they've had ups and downs, and they're parting way with 3 players there. Yeah, you can see them there. Oh, sorry, four players there. Yeah, sorry. It's in the headline, Dom. It's in the headline. Wow, so big changes happening at London Spitfire, and we'll see. The coach has gone as well, Jay Phil. And we'll see what happens next, who they bring on board. But they're making changes. Here's a quick shout out to an event that's coming up, which I'd like to highlight. Autistica, which is a charity for sort of just promoting awareness of autism. I went to a great event earlier this year that they held, which opened my eyes to autism more, and autism in the games industry. This is an event, it's kind of akin to some of special effects events where they raise money for their charity, and they get streamers involved, and they do streams to raise money, and it's all positive stuff. Autistica Play have announced Relax Mode, an online fundraising event from 18th to 20th October. It's a bit short notice, but it's 1 week on from World Mental Health Day, which is on 10th of October, coming up real soon. And they want people, as they play, share their thoughts on from World Mental Health Day and around that, and autism. And this is good to see. Go get involved, guys. It's on the Autistica website. You can Google and have a look there. One thing for me personally that I want to see change is the use of the word autist or autism as an insult in video games and esports. It's used a lot in the League of Legends scene, or at least was. People calling others literal autists and things like that. I know that some people don't mean it maliciously, but it's like when I was, when I was at school, many years ago, the term gay was used as an insult. And it was ingrained in culture as well. Eminem, if you listen to albums like that, but back in the day, in mid to late 90s, it was an insult, to be called gay, which is just I look back now and I think, it's ridiculous. And this is a similar thing as well. It's like, I know people out there saying, people shouldn't get offended being called retard and things like that, and it's similar. It's just, can we be nice to each other? It's not. Let's just not use names and things. There's other ways of saying you don't like someone, rather than dragging in a whole community or people that have something that affects them, and it insults them at the same time. We can be better than that, and I hope we move on from this. And I hope this event that Autistica are doing brings that to light a bit more, and we can change some of these things that are ingrained in like any toxic chatter and things like that, but whether that will happen or not, we'll have to wait and see, because it is the internet. Gfinity, this is an interesting one. Gfinity really look like they're changing their business model and changing their strategy. So I saw this the other day. They're going to produce an F1 esports reality show. They of course put together the F1 esports series, and they put together other things like there's FIFA events and things they've done in the past. There's no word of the Gfinity Elite Series these days. That seems to have died. But yeah, they're going to do 4 10-minute episodes of making an esports champion that will be aired ahead of each F1 Esports Pro Series live event. I mean, it's content, isn't it? And I wanted to highlight this as well from a few weeks back. They teamed up with Codemasters to do some content around the game, around the new grid racing game from Codemasters. For 3 weeks starting 30th of September, Real Sport 101 and its supporting social channels will feature and amplify news, content, blah 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 around grid. Of course, Gfinity owns Real Sport 101, the website. We can see here. Here's another one just from today, from October 8th. Gfinity owned Real Sport 101 announces FIFA content partnership with #United. Of course, they took part in the Gfinity Elite Series in the past. So they're doing content partnerships, they're doing content, it's not just esports tournaments, they're doing their own content, articles, videos. You can see here they bought Real Sport Esports Hub for £2.5 million almost. This was last year, I believe. Where was this? I swear I saw a date on this article when I loaded it up earlier, but I can't see it now. But I believe it was around early 2018 they bought Real Sport 101, and you can see here there's a Real Sport Twitter. They're doing a lot of content here. Look, there's some grid content as mentioned. A review of grid. Lots of different articles here, some memes. So Gfinity are changing, and you can see the official Gfinity Twitter page as well. It's articles on FIFA esports, Apex Legends, limited time events, general gaming news and esports news. There's video clips, not huge retweets and engagement that you'd expect with a brand that has 173,000 followers, but it's good that they're still doing stuff, memes and things. They're changing Gfinity, and I wish them all the best. It looks like they're transitioning to like a sort of news publication as such, digital media and stuff, videos and things like that. Be interesting to see what happens. I'd love to see the Elite Series come back, but we'll have to wait and see. Elsewhere, global news, a bit more global news I've got for you. Sri Lanka has recognised esports as an official sport. Ministry of Sports in Sri Lanka published a declaration following an announcement by Harin Fernando, Minister of Telecommunications and Sports. The order developed out of a decade-long effort by the Sri Lankan Esports Association to see esports legitimised. This is good stuff. That's subjective, I guess, whether esports is recognised as a sport or not. For me personally, it doesn't really matter if it's an activity that's here to stay. It doesn't matter if it's a sport. It doesn't matter what you call it. In certain countries, there may be benefits to making it a sport compared to other countries. In the UK, it's not recognised as a sport at the moment. And some people have wanted it recognised as a sport because they think it will sort of like open it up to funding that sports clubs and associations can get, traditional sports clubs. But it can, I interviewed, Phil Smith, I think it was, Phil at, Sport England, that's it. I do so many interviews, I lose track. At Sport England about a month or two ago, and I asked him the question about esports orgs and if they could probably get government funding in the future and if that could happen, and he said it's likely. Yeah, well, it could happen. He didn't allude to it definitely happening, but if that happens, then it doesn't need to be recognised as a sport. It can be recognised as its own activity that's here to stay, and so on. I've spoken on this topic a lot. I won't digress too much. I'll try not to, because I can start waffling. I don't want these videos to be sort of longer than half an hour, really. Elsewhere, we've got a Fortnite Pro Players Association has been set up. This is quite interesting. Booga, Elevate and 14 others have gotten together to form the Fortnite Professional Players Association in an effort to promote a healthy dialogue with Epic Games. There's obviously a lot of money up for grabs through competitive Fortnite, and despite a lot of complaints from the pro scene, they still stick around for the change at a chunk of the prize pool, of course, because there's a lot of money floating around. Are there any UK players here? Is Benji? I can't remember now. I don't think I could be. No, I don't think there is here. Again, I'm not super close on Fortnite. I'll have to ask my team. But I don't think there's a UK player there. So there you go. Yeah, they've announced a tweet a couple of days ago. We announced the FNPPA, or the Fortnite Professional Players Association. Be interesting to see how this shapes up, what actually happens. It looks like it's in the early stages, but we've got CSGO Pro Players Association, there's other players associations around the world. Yep, it's good, more player power, but it's important that players have things like this set up in case of problems in the future. Rick Fox, the founder of Echo Fox in the States, is suing business partners, alleging fraud, conspiracy and breach of contract. This story has gone on for so long now. I can't imagine what toll this has had on Rick Fox and his family. I mean, I hope it doesn't put him off esports. I hope that all this nonsense gets sorted out and he can come back, whether it's for another org or through Echo Fox in some way. Three-time NBA champion Rick Fox has sued his business partners Amit Rezada and Stratton Sklavos on Monday, alleging that the two committed fraud, conspiracy and breach of contract against Fox and their esports team Echo Fox in order to enrich themselves, according to documents filed in California Superior Court in LA. Good old Jacob Wolf writing this one. He's been really covering this story really well as it's developed. Again, I've said this before. If you don't know the background story, Google it, have a look. Basically, there was sort of like racist comments made towards Rick Fox by one of the investors. I think it was this guy. I think it was. It was a while ago now when the story first broke around that. Now there's a 162-page complaint which Rick Fox has filed, including 15 causes of action. And Fox has alleged that Rezada defrauded him and around Fox and partner Khalid Jones's acquisition of a controlling stake in Echo Fox in October 2018. And Rick Fox is seeking tens of millions of dollars in damages and a jury trial. I mean, real internal turmoil going on at Echo Fox. Of course, they had to get rid of their spot in the LCS. And it's not good. I haven't read this full story, but yeah, it's a mess. Basically, it's an utter mess. I hope it gets resolved. And if what Rick Fox is saying is true, then I really hope he wins the case and it all gets sorted. Last few stories. Worlds, the play-ins are over. The teams are qualified. Hong Kong Attitude backdoored Isurus Gaming to qualify for the World's main event, and they've joined 3 others, and we can see here they are Damwon Gaming, Clutch Gaming, and Splice, I believe, beat Unicorns of Love. So they'll be going through. And speaking of Worlds, the World song is finally here, guys. It's called Phoenix, which I saw that my World of Warcraft character has the same name, and I need to finish that book. So it's another reminder. I think someone's trying to tell me stop playing games and doing too much work, Dom, and get your book written, because I've got a few weeks probably left until my World changes and my twins arrive. So yeah, it's not a bad song actually. Phoenix, go and have a watch. Apparently it's on the Apple Music store, but I think it might have been in China or something like that. I've searched on Apple Music and I can't find it there yet on the UK one, so I have to wait. And so I can add that to my League of Legends playlist. Yes, I have a League of Legends playlist on my Apple Music. But yeah, it's not bad. I mean, I've come to expect amazing World's music videos every year now, and I think it gets harder and harder for Riot to produce amazing songs. But they do it every year. They make a real epic song. Still, for me, there'll never be one that matches Warriors of 2014. I think it was that really. That was incredible when that came out. But it is very good. There's pro players in there. You've got some like live action shots mixed with like comic book style. It's always really good. Give that a watch if you haven't done already. And last few things here. Fnatic, their debut event at DreamHack Masters Malmo, they've won a 2-1 victory over Vitality, and they've won $100,000. Where's the headline on this page gone? I swear there was a headline on this page, and it just seems to have disappeared. Has it been overtaken by that blooming advert? There we go. Fnatic wins DreamHack Masters Malmo, debuts with Flusher and Golden. I thought something was up there. Blooming adverts. So yep, congrats to Fnatic. And finally, this is one from under a week ago. Logitech has bought Streamlabs for $89 million. Streamlabs huge. You know, if you're in the streaming world, a lot of streamers use Streamlabs for the donations and manage the stream and things like that. Who knows how that will change going forwards. And the move follows Logitech's acquisition of microphone firm Blue in August 2018. So Logitech, making serious acquisitions in gaming and esports, doing more than just hardware now. Buying a company like Streamlabs. So it'll be interesting to see how or if that does change in the future. That was it this week, guys. I think I've been a bit more opinionated on some of the news today, so if you like that, let me know. I think rather than running through headlines and opening lines of news stories, I'll give my take on things, having been in journalism for whatever it is now, almost 13 years, and esports for a good 5 or so, so closely anyway. I've been following esports before that, but let me know what you think, guys. If I upset you, if I annoyed you, you didn't agree with my comments, I don't mind. Let me know. That's part of what having a debate is. Sharing opinions is all about, right? If you agreed with it, cool. If not, that's cool as well. Let me know. Oh, Sacco's Snackos this week. I've got an olive. One of my favourite snacks. So I'm going to be biased towards olives. It's 9 out of 10 for me. I can sit there quite happily eating a whole damn jar of olives while watching the TV or playing a game or something. Not a whole jar, because I won't make myself, but I could quite easily, eat a substantial amount of olives. On that note, guys, thanks very much, and I will see you next time.